So in terms of what we're going to cover today, firstly, we're going to look at why membership retention is so important, particularly now in a situation where a number of venues have had new members or new pay and play customers join in the summer following COVID. How are we going to keep those people in our clubs and in our activities? So how understanding your existing membership can help you with retention strategies and identify some tools, exercises to help you do this. We'll do that for the course of the webinar. We'll then look at a simple but effective way of tracking your attrition rate and membership churn rating. We'll finish with 3 key takeaways, so 3 things you take away and think about at the end of the webinar to take back to your club and your committee and to help you support your retention and planning for the future. And the key thing I want to stress is that the support doesn't end with this webinar. We want to follow up with venues and with people to support you further. So by all means, please reach out to us at the end of the webinar and we'll support you back in your club moving forward with the content you see tonight. This 60-minute webinar will provide just an overview of membership, as I said, and there'll be further information coming from us. You'll get the slides as well and some further documentation just to help you with looking at retention moving forward. Okay, Luke, do you want to move the slide on for me? I feel like Chris Whitty asking him to move the slides on. I feel very important all of a sudden. Just to help set the scene then, we've drawn out some key stats for you from our Club Health survey. I'm sure many of you have completed that survey at different times for the LTA. And it just provides some wider national trends for you as well. So our Club Health survey shows that there is room for improvement in this area of membership retention with a mean score of 3.6. So that's at the top there in the middle of the screen, with 5 being very healthy and 1 being very unhealthy. So with respect to membership retention, venues are telling us via the survey that they feel that they're doing an average to fair job at retaining members in general. Also, what 58% of clubs have said that focusing on membership retention is one of their top priorities for the next 6 months, which reinforces what we have heard regarding recruitment of members into tennis clubs during the last 6 months, but also lays out the challenge ahead. So we've seen quite a bit of growth in tennis clubs over the summer period in the vast majority of them, but now the focus is also on about actually keeping those people in the club, particularly given some of the challenges we've got with weather, etc., to move into the winter period. But it would be short-sighted to think this only applies to those new members that have joined during the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. Existing members should form part of your retention strategy. 46% of existing members put their membership on hold during the lockdown period in the summer. And it's important as restrictions lift now as we move forward, we engage and welcome them all back into club life and retain them in some form of membership. So quite often in any type of membership organisation, we tend to get wrapped up in focusing on new members and keeping new members, but quite often it's just as important to make sure that our long-standing members are happy and feel they receive a really good service. So what we'll hopefully help you with today is taking a view on how you support new members to stay in, and also your long-standing existing members, making sure they still feel valued and part of your club moving forward. So what we're going to do is develop a strategy that incorporates all your members, new and old, and it should be a primary focus for the next 3 to 6 months, particularly over the winter period. And hopefully at the end of what will be a return to normal life in clubs in the spring, and hopefully the news of a potential vaccine will take us a step closer to normality in the next spring, summer period, fingers crossed. So I'm now going to hand over to Luke, and Luke's just going to talk to you about why membership retention is so important. He's also going to start to look at some of the practical tools to support you focus on your retention plan.
Thanks, Jamie. Good evening, everyone. So it may sound obvious, but membership revenue is obviously vital for any sports club in order to survive. Depending on your business model, your membership subscriptions will account for a significant proportion of your overall revenue and consequently your profit. Therefore, apart from ensuring the longevity of your business, there are key benefits to having high retention rates. Focus on your strategy, and retaining members is far more cost effective than chasing new customers when you factor in things like the cost of marketing and having to advertise. The Harvard Business Review claims that depending on the study and what industry you're in, acquiring a new customer is anywhere from 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. Effectively retaining members can aid recruitment, as with more consistent membership base, relationships develop between members, developing a sense of belonging throughout the membership base. People might join to play tennis, but stay because they bond, they make friends with others, and loyal members are more likely to recommend you to others, sing and shout about how wonderful the club is, and bring in new customers to you. They could be one of your best recruitment tools that you'll ever have. So understanding your existing membership is the best place to start. The more you understand about your membership, the more effective your retention strategies can be. What do your members like about your club? What do they maybe not like as much? So what we're going to do now is have a look at how you can understand your membership in a little bit more detail. So understanding your existing membership. Just because your members enjoy tennis, it doesn't mean that they all want the same thing from their clubs. Members will be at different stages of the membership journey, some just starting out, some stalwarts who have been with the club since day one. As a club, you'll need to recognise this and understand what profiles of your club exist and what they want from their membership. To help clubs profile their members and playing habits, the LTA has worked with a behavioural research company to create profiles of 6 types of people who make up the bulk of the tennis market. Some of you may be familiar with these, and for those who joined our previous webinar, but they are the tennis titans, tennis troopers, seasonal spinners, Wimbledon warriors, social butterflies, and senior stalwarts. For clarity, these profiles describe key characteristics and likely habits. They're not fixed real people. Within our Growing Your Membership self-service guide, you'll find an overview of each profile, complete with tennis behaviours, marketing preferences, and lifestyle choices. Explore these segments and think about how these apply to your existing members. So here's an example of a common club member profile, a tennis titan. So tennis titans have tennis as their main sport, and their needs are met through competitive tennis, including internal and external leagues and team sessions. They are far less likely to go to a coaching session, but may partake in individual lessons if they want to work on something specific. Wherever they go, they'll look for a tennis club to play at, and there is often no need to market to these people. They will find you, usually via your website. This is a group to understand, look after, and retain for the future. Therefore, it's important you have offers that cater to your core market. Knowing some of this information will help you build the right strategies to retain this type of member. What potential barriers might exist that prevent them playing more and staying in membership, and their communication preferences and preferred communication channels. A good exercise to do in a committee meeting is to compare the profiles and identify who you think you are, or that of friends and family, to make it real. Look at what they want from their membership, what prevents them from playing more, or potential barriers that might mean they might leave membership, and importantly, what their communication preferences are. How do they want to be communicated to, and compare that to how you choose to communicate to them currently. Remember, this type of profiling can support your recruitment plans too. We go into this in more detail in our Growing Your Membership webinar, which was held recently, and we'll be able to share with you a link to a recording of the session. You can also request a copy of your own club report if you haven't done so already by either speaking to myself or Pam Griffiths. So I'm now going to pass you back to Jamie, who's going to talk more about the importance of the customer journey. Jamie, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. I'm going to talk to you about creating a great customer member journey then. So another useful exercise is to map out your own member journey and identify areas of improvement in your engagement and interaction with that particular type of member, as Luke's just set out. You'll have different types of member at your club, from long-standing existing members to brand new members who have joined your club in the last 6 months. To help you understand the member journey at your club, we've designed this simple visual guide you can see on the screen, which could be a great exercise to do as a committee to ensure you consider what actions to take at the bottom to meet the new members' expectations at the top of the image. So you've got be visible, make engagement easy, welcoming and friendly, keep in touch, understand your customer, and the customer expectations might be to search for information, to sign up, to take part, expect to follow up and feel valued. Those are the things that they'd want to feel from their club, from the signing up stage to the retention stage. It's important to point out that a member's journey starts even before they join your club. These stages are highlighted in red on the left-hand side as you look at it. And the stages highlighted in green focus more as their time as a member. So red is pre to membership, green is once they've signed up. Don't ignore the red sections, as a member's experience early on in your relationship could dictate their future with your club and the likelihood of recommending your club to others. Of course, we often heard phrases, is first impressions count. So that first experience of joining the club is often the one that they carry forward the longest and kind of directs their actions and thought processes. So in terms of what's important, how they initially engage with the club, the processes to which they are signed up to membership, the welcome and induction into the club that they receive, and then the ongoing communication from you all are key to consider when retention planning. So that whole journey is fundamentally important. Luke, do you want to move me on? Yeah. So let's take a look at a real example of a member journey for a new member that has joined your club during the COVID-19 pandemic. As I've said, the red section is the member's journey prior to signing up membership, and we are going to focus on the green section on the right-hand side, where the member has already joined the club. Okay, we'll just move on, Luke. Okay, so when they initially join, they expect to feel welcome, understand the benefits of the club, and feel integrated into club life. They want to feel part of the club. Meet people, play, and use the range of facilities on offer that you have. What as clubs do you do to facilitate this? Just have a think about it in terms of what do you do at your venue now after the webinar. Go back, think about what do we do to make people feel welcome, to feel part of our club. But just as some examples, do you assign a buddy to meet and greet new members? Offer a new member induction? Host a new member evening, bring people together? Do you offer a tour of the club? Have a look at the facilities, understand how things work? What am I allowed to do, what am I not allowed to do? Just take people through some of that detail they may be afraid to ask. How do you ensure that new members feel integrated and find someone to play with? Do you have social media groups? Do you use WhatsApp, Facebook, etc.? Just think about some tools you could use. Do you do good old-fashioned face-to-face new member groups, as I just said? There's different ways of engaging people. Are your staff and volunteers appropriately trained? Particularly present now with COVID, of course. Do they know the name of your new members? So there is a friendly smile and reception greeting them by name. When they first come to a coaching session, for example, do the new junior members, does the coach know their names? Are they going to feel welcome when they sign up? They join a social tennis session, for example. Those things are the most important things. We like people to use our names to make us feel important and part of a group and valued. How do you sell the full range of benefits to a new member? Do they receive a new member pack informing them on how to book a court or enter a competition or a social event? Do new members receive a welcome letter from the chair, for example? And do you know if the new member has even managed to get a game yet? So that's the key thing. Actually, are we talking to our members? But we ask them about their first step experience, how they're feeling, what they think about the club. Very, very important. As they move through their membership, the member expects regular communication, interaction, and feels integrated within the club and other people within it as well, linked to other people within it. So how do you ensure that you meet these expectations? Do you run regular social events, maintain a regular communication via a newsletter, members section of your website, or via social media groups? Do you assign a volunteer to look after new members, make sure they've got on court or they have got on court or introduced to someone to play with? Do you track usage? Do you track usage of courts? Members that can be identified as not using the club within the last 3 months, for example, are potentially those at most risk of dropping out of membership. So do you know who uses your courts, who uses them regularly, who's not using them? That's a good kind of test exercise to think about who you could talk to just to make sure they do feel engaged. Someone hasn't made a court booking for 3 months. Let's just check in with them to make sure A, they're okay and they feel part of the club and explore the reasons why they're not playing. We do understand, and we're completely realistic, that you can't do all of this. In many cases, clubs are run by volunteers, but at least creating and mapping out that customer journey, the member journey through your club within the last 3 months. Sorry, I'm reading on a bit. Can help you to review what you currently do well and explore options on what you could develop. So do the simple exercise of just mapping out that from signing up to joining the club for the first 6 months. What are the touch points they have, the communication points, the experience they have? That alone, I think, will help you understand how your members perceive the club and how they interact with it. And I think, again, just something for you to think about, we won't have a discussion at this point, but maybe you could bring it up at the end, is when you first joined your tennis club or another club that, away from tennis, for example, if it's more recent, what was your own experience like? What did it feel like when you joined the club? How did you feel? Did you feel welcomed and part of the club? And also just imagine what it would be like to join a completely new club now, and what would you like to experience? And I think those are really valuable questions to ask yourselves as a committee as well. If you take the content of the webinar back, is to sit down and think about this journey I've just shown you, and also just think about some of those questions. What was our own experience like of joining this club, if we were honest with each other? And then also, actually, what would we like that experience to feel like to new members? I think it would be a really useful exercise for you. Okay, I'm going to launch the first official poll in the webinar. Okay, so I've just got some questions now for you. I've just around the membership journey, so hopefully you will see those now. So there's 3 questions. The first one is, have you ever considered the member journey? And please be really honest about this. Are you likely to look at improving it for new members? And do you need help with improving your customer journey? You know, can we support you with that? Just give it a few more seconds. Okay, so I'll end the polling and I will share the results with you as well. Okay, so in terms of have you considered the member journey, really pleasing to see that 80% of venues on the call said they have, and really encouraging to say that everyone says that they want to improve that in the future, which is great. And then in terms of do you need help with improving your customer journeys, around 50-50. It's great to hear that some people feel that they're comfortable and confident they can improve it themselves. That's great. But if you're in the 50% that feels they want help with that, then please feel free to get in touch and we'll help you do that moving forward. Stop sharing those results. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to Luke just to take you through the next section.
Thanks, Jamie. That's great. Okay. So finally, in this section on understanding your members, we want to look at how you gain members' feedback to analyse whether you're meeting their expectations and providing the best possible experience. Do you conduct regular membership surveys with your members? Do you conduct exit surveys with your outgoing members to understand the reasons they are choosing not to renew? They don't have to be extensive surveys, and the simpler and quicker they are to complete will often reap its rewards with better response rates and valuable feedback. We have produced a simple self-service guide to supporting you with member surveys. This guide will help you create your survey looking at appropriate format, getting your timing right with useful hints and tips to ensuring high response rates. Finally, the guide contains some templates, questions as an example of what to ask in terms of the questions. It can be found on the LTA website, and we'll forward you a link as well as all the related information from tonight's webinar after this evening's session as well. Okay, we'd also like to take the opportunity to showcase a membership survey platform we're currently piloting with a number of tennis clubs across the country with a company called Players First. The survey is completed electronically and responses feed into an intuitive club-facing dashboard, giving you detailed feedback on various service areas from your membership induction, your prices and products, your club life, your facilities and equipment, and your membership's perceptions of the management team and coaching provision. These are some of the highlights from the dashboard that you can see on your screen now, from identifying how well you're doing against those key service areas here in the top left, to identifying the key priorities to improve member satisfaction in the top right, through to useful tools to filter your results. Therefore, as an example, if you wanted to know what all female members between 18 to 24 years of age thought about the facilities and equipment, you could filter on these views only. Finally, insights on how you rank against national benchmarks and against all other clubs in the country are also available, obviously anonymised. We currently have 8 clubs who have launched their survey in the platform with a combined NPS of 56. For those who haven't heard of an NPS before, NPS stands for Net Promoter Score. It's a customer satisfaction benchmark that measures how likely your customers are to recommend your business to a friend. NPS is a typical benchmark company measure to evaluate and improve customer loyalty. So to put it into context, Apple, for example, has an NPS score of 47, Microsoft 45, Google 11, Facebook is currently tracking at -21. So it's fantastic results from these clubs that you can see on the screen to kick off this pilot, and we hope to share more information regarding the pilot in the near future. Using this data, you can then develop a simple action plan to address member satisfaction, but also focus on those areas that will have the biggest impact on your members' satisfaction. It's a tool we hope to roll out to all clubs in 2021, so watch out for more information on this. I'll hand you back to Jamie, who's now going to launch our next poll.
Okay, so poll 3, again, just to get a flavour for where you are as clubs. Again, we've got 3 questions here. So, do you already conduct membership surveys? Just be interested to know that. Would you like help conducting a membership survey? If you do, we could maybe run an additional training session on that. That would be great. And we're not going into much detail, but would you consider a platform such as the one we've just shown you, which is called Players First? And for example, Bridgend and also Wrexham Tennis Clubs have been part of the LTA pilot this year. So I think once we've shared their results with them, maybe we get them to talk to other venues about the power of the tool and how useful it is. Give another 5 seconds or so. Okay. Just end the polling. I'll share the results with you. Okay, so in terms of conducting membership surveys, quite an even split. 41% saying that they do, just under 60% saying that they don't. Would you like help conducting a membership survey? Again, quite a strong split. So, 60% just shy saying they would like help. So that's something we can certainly look to do with you post this webinar. And then would you consider the platform? 9 are saying they would do, and then the rest are saying that they potentially would do again. So hopefully, certainly post the webinar in the new year, when the LTA decide how they're going to move forward with Players First, we can certainly be back in touch with you to share more information and actually, the usability, the interface of the tool to see if it's something that's valuable to you as venues. Okay, so I'll just stop the share of those and close that. And then going to just go back to Luke just for the next slide.
Okay. Thanks, Jamie. Our final section continues the theme of measuring your success. After all, you can't improve what you don't measure. So we're going to have a look at monitoring your attrition rate or membership churn. Whilst we acknowledge there are various ways of measuring retention, as long as you stick to a formula throughout the course of a year, all calculations will be comparable over time for your club. In this example, we've used the formula above on the screen, calculating the attrition rate against the average number of members at any one time. Membership attrition is a key piece of information needed to assess the health of your club, and if monitored regularly, it can inform key decisions around your membership. We've developed a simple calculator tool to help you monitor your member change over time. So just bear with me a second. I'm just going to pop that up. Bring up the document. I'm going to give you a quick little demo of how to use.
This is where we hope Luke can use his laptop appropriately to share his screen with something else. Looks promising. See that? Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So this is just a little Excel spreadsheet tool to looking at monitoring your membership and attrition. So as you'll see on the screen there, we've got categories down the left-hand side of different types of membership. So adult full couple, daytime member. And the first thing you'll need to do to start with is have a baseline of data. So this, as an example here, we've got December 19 membership for each category based on male and female. And then what we would do on a monthly basis as a committee or whoever your membership secretary is, ideally what we do then is input some data into these month-by-month cases, and it will calculate our attrition rates. So what I'm just going to quickly do here is get some data that I've prepared earlier for you. Just to put some data in here, just to show you how it looks. Okay. So we put 2 months of data in there. So what it will obviously will tell you at the end of the month is your total membership. So in this example in January, we've gone from 410 in December 19 to 370. So in theory, our membership would be down, say, by 40. But what you do to calculate your attrition rate further down here, what we actually need to do, it doesn't necessarily mean you've lost 40 members. You might have actually gained 5, but lost 45. So all you would need to do is put your monthly members in the columns up here by male and female. And then down here, you just input your joiners and leavers So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to say that 45 left, and we had 5 new members. And you'll see below it calculates your attrition rate, which is 12 for January, as an example. Okay. And what the spreadsheet will do for you on a month-by-month basis, if I scroll across, it'll work out your average for the year, your year-to-date at that point. Okay. So if I put the February data in again, you see I've done that. We're minus, we went from 370 to 353. So we've lost 17 members, but we may, let's just say we've gained 3. So we've gained 3, but lost 20. We do exactly the same in here. Joiners 3, we've lost 20. And the attrition rate for that one is 6. Obviously it's less because you've lost less people than the previous month, but the average would have changed over here. So your attrition rate for those first 2 months of the year is now at 32. Okay. So it's quite a useful little tool to use, and obviously we can share this after tonight's session for you to have a look at. And then obviously what you would like to see is, it's quite common during the winter period to see membership dropping off, but then obviously once you hit the high season of April, May, June, July, etc., into the high season, then the membership hopefully will go up. But where this will be really, really useful for you guys to be able to monitor your peaks and troughs throughout the year as a club. Some clubs are very strong throughout the whole of the year for 12 months. Some are very much summer season based, etc. So that's how that tool works, which is quite useful. I'll just close this down a second to stop the share. I'm quite impressed that worked. And I'll just go back to the slides. Okay, well, that's great. So we're back there. So yeah, this tool can help not just in providing a monthly and annual attrition rate, but could also assist you to understand your membership composition by categories, identify what categories of membership you're losing, and therefore who you obviously want to look at who do you want to try to retain, how many members have joined in the last 12 months, how many members have left in the last 12 months, identifying the hotspots in attrition. Do you have certain patterns, peaks and troughs? As I said, every club will look very different. Whatever you're measuring, understanding more about your membership statistics will really help you gauge your progress. Progress is personal. There's little data on tennis clubs generally, specifically, and the vast majority of it lies within the fitness industry. Attrition rates generally can be as high as 50%, so losing 50% of your membership annually. But across the board, fitness clubs average around about 28%. As I said, every club will be different. And this is obviously going to be a key focus next year for lots of clubs that have seen significant growth this year with the actual COVID restrictions. We've seen a lot of clubs grow significantly as other people come into the sport, potentially from other sports that are not currently able to participate. So these are obviously interesting stats, and it might be interesting to measure how you're doing. So I'll pass back to Jamie, who's going to go on to another poll.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next poll. Okay, I shall launch that one now. So hopefully you'll see that now. So we're just interested to hear if, do you currently monitor your own membership attrition churn rate? So it might not be using a tool like that on Excel, but do you know month by month, year by year, if you have a standard membership time frame? Do you know how many new members you have in a year? Do you know how many you use, for example? And then would you use the LTA membership attrition calculator, which we could spend more time with you on in future if you wish to at your venue. Okay, that's been for around a minute. I'll just share the results with you so you can see them. Okay, so interesting to see the vast majority of venues don't currently monitor your membership attrition or churn rate, which is fine. It's a new concept. Good to see that the 4 do. And then would you use the LTA membership attrition calculator? It's a tool, it's not for everyone. And I feel sometimes you can come up with your own systems and processes that work for you. But again, kind of a 50-50 split there. It'll be interesting at the end, if it's okay, when we get to questions and Q&A, those that do monitor your membership attrition, it'd be really good to hear how you do that. So that's a thing we can just have a chat about in a minute when we finish shortly. Okay, I believe it's me now, Luke, so if you want to just move the slide on. Okay, so that's the core bulk of the content that we've covered. So kind of the 3 key messages we're looking for you to take away today, think about, take back to your committee. One is just to consider how you take the time to understand your members and your players, and as this will inform your retention plans moving forward. Just revisit or visit for the first time the member journey at your club and the various stages of that at your club for your members. So from that first sign up to the partway through the year, the first 3 months, that probation period, for want of a better phrase, when people might be trying the club out, to the annual renewal phase, for example. There are different phases on that journey, just to think about that experience for your customers. Then also to help you do that and look at how successful you are at that, also then just to think about how you might measure and track your own member attrition rate. You can use the tool that we've shown. You can find your own way of doing it through your own data systems based on how you record your memberships. But just think about how you would track that attrition rate. Okay, do you want to move me on, Luke? So, as I said, that was very much an overview of those 3 important areas as a starter for 10 in roughly 40 minutes. So, we'll have a chat now at the end if there are any questions, and please do speak to us, come back to us post this webinar. We'll email out to you the information that you require, that we will share, and the detail from today, and then come back to us if you want to, particularly Luke and Pam, on any support that you require and how we can help. So just going to finish with the final poll. Let's bring that one up. Okay, so it's just about a little bit of feedback for us. Don't mind, warts and all, positive and negative is fine. So just a little bit here for us in terms of feedback. So I've got, have you found today's session useful and informative? And then which of the 3 topics did you find most useful? And that's a multiple choice question, so you can pick more than one. So just a couple of questions there. Okay, thanks for that. I'll just share you the results there. So it's pleasing to see that most people have found it to some degree useful and informative. That's great. We were partly doing our job okay. And then in terms of the topic areas, exploring membership journeys and surveys has come out strongly. So again, just thank you for that feedback. We'll take that on board, share that with the LTA, and it'll help us shape future opportunities to support venues moving forward. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide, Luke. Okay, before we have a bit of a discussion and you can ask any questions, just wanted to flag with you that we've got 2 more webinars between now and the end of November on the next 2 Wednesdays. So next Wednesday's webinar, again at 7 PM on the 18th, is on programming and court utilisation. So it's about revenue generation and maximising court usage at your venue effectively. So just give you some top tips on how to help review the quality of your own tennis court usage programme, and make sure that you your allocation of hours and sessions, etc., is meeting the needs of your members as well as the wider community. So that'll look at court utilisation, programming, and working with your coaches. And then the final webinar on the 25th of November, again a Wednesday at 7 PM. It's titled Good Governance, Developing an Effective Strategic Plan. It is very much about strategic planning, and it's a starter for 10 on developing a club business plan, looking at your mission and your vision, and developing some business objectives for your venue. So a bit more of a practical one that starts to take on the journey around business planning and developing a vision for your venue. So that's the next 2 webinars coming up. Okay, as I said before, would be really pleased and delighted if you felt that you wanted further support. We're very much aware in this environment it's difficult to give you bespoke support and detailed support. in 45 minutes on a webinar, it is challenging. So we're really happy and want to have one-to-one meetings, again, over Zoom. Got a little bit more flexibility now with coming out to see you as well after lockdown. So please do book a follow-up meeting in response to the information we send out to you after this.